A lady told me her story. Allow me to share it with you, she said. It all started when I opened that envelope addressed to me, Daisy Louise Hancorn Smith, from the Native Affairs Department from Broken Hill. My first thought, this grey very dull note will colour my life in an instant, but who will send me this kind of money? Then I read the ink-written words that will change my life forever. £100 legacy left by my dead fiancé, Bert Fuller. Well, you believe me now when I tell you I couldn't believe my beautiful blue eyes. Today I move into my new house in 22 Tully Street. I am called Mrs. Cowell now. Soon we are starting a family. A few months passed and I'm expecting. This body has picked up so much weight and I hate being so out of control. I hate every minute of this pregnancy and it must end, now. I must take some of the oil the old woman from 18 gave me. This baby must get out. Soon I'm in labor and twins are born. This was not part of my plan. WHY I hear myself say out loud. Why two of these little creatures? I must do something, they will drive me crazy. The funeral was sad, for some. I had to take a break. But soon Alfred started with this having child thing again. I had tried convincing myself to be the perfect human, but I struggled. Then things happened so fast. The next year Rhodes were born. Then soon after that Lester Beresford. They weren't so bad, we baptized them, because that's the way we did stuff in 1913. In the Church of the Holy Trinity in Johannesburg. Soon after that I was knocked up again. Alfred Eric, I didn't like you much. I was getting tired of this charade. This pretense was just a sham and didn't want to play house no more. Today I think they will diagnose me as Munchausen by proxy, but it was far worse. Iniminimo. It was the 1st of January 1917. We buried Alfred just after he started walking. Then for a while the voices in my head stopped until October that same year. At first, he didn't want to swallow the colorful juice I specially made for him. But at the end he didn't put up a fight because he had a painful stomach. He was also buried in New Cemetery Johannesburg graveyard. Rhodes, I can handle you, for now. Life was toned down, monotonous and just happening every time the comet came around. I must do something. This boredom is going to kill me. At first, I just wanted to give Alf enough to make him sick, but then I got a macabre sensation from his suffering and the fact that his end could bring in some money took over the last bit of sane thinking. I was amused. I couldn't help it. The frothing, writhing and then apnea was exactly what I wanted to see. After the second fit he was in terrible agony and died. At least he left me some money. Again, I find myself with no remorse, nor pity. I had no intention of staying Widow Cowell. A few years later, after spending most of Alf's money on myself, I married Bob, aka Robert Sproat. Bob. 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 If you only knew. Bob tested me. And soon I had to think of ways to convince him anybody can die, any day. His will was still in his mother's name. Bob needed some persuasion. The first dose I gave him was small enough to make cramps but big enough to scare him. That was just enough to tell his friend when he dies, I must get all. He died soon after his recovery and was buried next to old Alfred in the New Brixton Cemetery. I was happy for the first time in years. I can visit my sister. I can shop and live a happy life. Married my third husband, Sid de Melker, left 67 Terence Road and tried to settle down. Then suddenly Rhodes got on my nerves. He wanted a motorcycle, then a car. It never stopped. I felt the crazy dementing feelings returned. As his demands grew, this was only 3 months from his 21st birthday. I soon bought some arsenic from old Spilkin, and as I walked out his pharmacy, 2 hours from home, with that little brown bag, Rhodes's fate was sealed. He will be missed, was my last thought, as I stood next to his bed, with my unnatural detachment personality, while he was crying desperately, convulsing and dying with a purple face of asphyxia. I was a little careless, nearly killing his friend Webster, because he drank some of Rhodes's coffee, the same coffee I infused with the pharmacy stuff. 2 days later I claimed his insurance policy and didn't spend much money on a grave. He was buried in his dad's grave, and I returned home to 19 Simmer Road, Germiston. By this time, I looked ugly, tired and faded. I felt like crying, even if I knew I am not capable. My own lisp was irritating me and sounded like a whine of singing whales. Suddenly, a new exciting chapter arrived, and I felt alive again. I was posing for my police photo, thinking this is my time to shine. I brushed up and put some thinking into my appearance in court. All eyes were on me, and I felt like the celebrity these minions didn't know. Every day I waved like a royalty that I think I was, as I left court. They found 60 people to be witnesses. I was so grateful for all the attention, as I wrote another chapter to my memoirs. Some called me a paradox, vain, petty, spiteful and neurotic, Little Women, but I was full of courage, no fear and self-love. I even heard Morris compared me to an army general, ruthless, remorseless and no pity. I do not agree. Stampedes started to form, and I knew the end was near, when they called Spilkin to witness. And then Morris told me some detectives from Rhodesia is waiting to arrest me, for 3 different cases, as soon as this is over, and I was found not guilty. So by then I was tired again, wanting this chapter to end. I even now have less time for men than before. I hear my own hoarse voice asking the time. I was offered a tot of brandy. I liked it with milk. It does not matter no more. Then I count 1, 2, 3 up to 52 steps. Near the roof, 6 chains. Mine had a white plaited cord with a noose dangling at the end. The footprints under each chain show them where to I must stand, because nobody else spoke a word. It's cold. I felt scared now, as I faced the hangman. What a moment. I hear the sheriff, He is repeating my sentence. It sounds far. I feel the hangman's eyes on me the whole time. My eyes were shut with a beret. He then puts the noose over my head. It was in slow motion. I wonder what he is thinking. He can't fear me. My hands are shackled and now shaking. The constraints make click-clack. I stood between two wardens. I feel them. Did they sign up for this? Suddenly you hear mini railway tracks. You can almost feel the noose tighten already. I smell sawdust. I jerked as the hangman shouted, "All clear." Suddenly the floor was gone. I had this metallic taste. I hear rattles. I wiggled. I can't breathe. Saliva dripping from my mouth.